Hello, I'm Gordon Tinline, a business psychologist, and welcome to the course. In this course, I'm going to help you to ensure you get the most out of your working environment and experience. I'm going to do that by focusing in on three core elements which really determine the nature of our experience at work. Those are demands, control, and support. So you'll hear me coming back to these, and we'll go on and we'll talk in more detail about them. So when you think about these three, ideally, we need them all to be positive. So an ideal world, if we could ever create it at work, would be just the right level of demand, which means workload which is stimulating, interesting, but not swamped, not overloaded. So your demands would feel good. You would believe you had the control necessary to get your job done effectively. So you'd have a strong belief that you could influence events, do what was necessary to ensure that you could do your job very well. And you would feel supported. Now, that would mean you'd be able to access support easily and readily when you needed it. You may not always use it, but you'd know it was there. In practice though, it's very difficult to get those three things to be absolutely where we want them. Now, we can usually cope if one, possibly two of these is a bit difficult. It's extremely difficult to cope if all three are difficult. So let's just think about that. If you're experiencing very heavy demands, more than actually you can normally handle effectively, but you retain a belief that I can still influence things that are most important here to get through this, and I know the support's there if I'm really struggling, you can probably cope and you'll deal with that period of heavy demand. Think about the other ones. What if you felt I've got a lot of control here over what I do, but actually I don't feel I've got sufficient demands? You probably feel like you're not challenged enough, and that's not potentially good for your well-being either. So you'd feel like you had all this power, this influence, this discretion, and you just didn't have enough to do with it really in terms of maximising it and getting the most from it. So demands can be too low as well as too high. Bear that in mind. And then support. We can usually, most of us are self-sufficient and resilient, and we can get on and we can do things successfully without a lot of support, but every now and again we need it. So if it's a short period without support, you're probably fine. A long extended period, particularly when demands are high and your sense of control starts to vary, it's extremely difficult. So what we really need to do then is focus in on these areas: demands, control, support. What is it we can do to influence these positively?